Record on this. Okay. So I've started recording because it's 5 after. And this is the Central Florida Computer Society's technical SIG, TechSIG. And we started about 5 minutes ago, just general chit chat. And Stan dropped out. He was having some internet problems. I know there's been some heavy storms in the northern sections, and one may have gotten to his area. So we can continue. So Paul was talking about we got on the subject of LED bulbs for automobiles, and Paul was talking about seeing an airplane which is similar to the one that he owns that had LED. What were the wingtip lights or landing light or what?
The landing light.
So the big bright
Right.
landing light on the nose.
And he had LED, and I've seen LED position lights on the wingtips. Those have been real common and been around for a long time, but the landing lights, you know, to get a landing light real bright, I didn't know they had LEDs. Well, obviously now, the last couple of years, you've seen really bright LED flashlights. But, you know, I just, you look kind of cool.
Since I'm in my personal account and Stan isn't here and Huey isn't here, let's see if I can open up another window as Huey. I don't know if Zoom is going to let me do that, because if I sign out of this account, then I drop out of that. The reason I would do that is because none of us here can let somebody else in. There could be other people in the waiting room. And if I drop out, the recording will stop.
So Stan is the only one who can let somebody in.
Stan or Huey, yeah. He should have made me alternate. Let's see if I can share my screen. If he did, I'm an alternate host. Let me see. Okay, are you seeing my screen on your computers?
10-4.
Okay, so I am a host, alternate host then. All right, well then nobody else has tried to log in. All right, well, I have some things to talk about. Why don't we do it in reverse order, and we'll just, Paul as I say, started out talking about landing lights.
Yeah,
What else have you got, Paul?
Well, actually, I really don't have much in the way of what we normally talk about for the TechNet here. I just really have nothing of real interest. The only interesting thing I've done in the past month on a car was to change some O-rings on my wife's Subaru in the air conditioning system, which, you know, after I evacuated the system, you know, I disconnected the two pipes, the fat one and the thin one, the liquid pipe and the low pressure pipe from the, you might say, the evaporator. And it's really, well, we'll just call it the evaporator. So, because it was leaking, I had dye in the system, and I had been losing Freon over the past couple of years. And that's where it was coming out. So I went down to the Subaru dealer, got the O-rings, sat on them for a while until I was ready, called them back, make sure I got the right number. Yeah, you're good to go. So I take the Freon out, and I take the pipes out, and lo and behold, they're the wrong O-rings. So I call the guy up. He says, yeah, you got the right O-rings. Then he says, you know, hold on, let me check something else. Oh, yeah, I got some other numbers here. I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to grab everything I bought. I bought 4 O-rings, 2 sets. I said, I'm going to grab that and the original ones, and I'm coming down. So now in the middle of, I want to knock this out real quick. So now in the middle of everything, I got to get redressed, go down to the Subaru place up on 1792. And I walked in there, and he had 2 more O-rings sitting there on the counter. and showed him the old ones, and they were the right ones. And I never got an answer why he pulled up the wrong number, because it's not his mistake. I mean, what he gave me was in his database. I just didn't understand how that happened. There's two numbers in the database, and I haven't sorted that out. So anyway, he gave me the right ones, and I left with two more sets of stuff. I came home, I put the O-rings on, put everything back together, put the Freon in, and vacuumed the system down. Everything looked good. I wasn't leaking, put the Freon in, and then I watched it for the next couple of weeks with a ultraviolet light. I didn't put any more dye in the system. I thought about it, but I decided there's still residual dye in there, and if it's going to come out, it's going to come out. But everything's been really, I cleaned everything up well. So aside from having to add a couple hours to my day, everything went well. So everything's good to go. So
Did
that's my big point.
did you buy any Amazon Prime Day?
I
goodies?
got, no, there's nothing that I really need. The only thing I got sitting in my thing is that RCA video to HDMI. And I was going to buy it, but then I took it out of my cart. But now I think I may buy it. It's sitting in my cart again. It's like $11. I may buy it just to.
Well, you've got about 4 or 5 more hours, and then any discounts, you'll
I
lose
may
any
buy it
discounts.
I'm not sure if it's discounted or not, but it's only $11.
Yeah.
And the rest of it,
Stan, welcome back, and I started recording.
Thank you. I saw that, and I wish.
And yeah, you're still
maybe
breaking
you
up.
were co-host earlier. Let me tell you what happened. I was doing something else. Well, I was going to hook up a cable, and as soon as I put the cable in, it said Windows 10 has run into a problem and needs to restart. And I restarted it, and it was saying it needs to do repairs, and I did that twice. I couldn't get it to restart. I took the cable out, so I'm now back on Wi-Fi. Can't imagine why that happened.
Uh-oh. Gary, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Oh, okay.
There's a phone message there. I wanted to see what it was.
Oh, it sounded like you fell. Okay. Well, Stan, you may want to turn your live video off, and we'll just look at your icon.
And the chair was empty. Yeah.
Stan, if you turn your video off and just talk, I think we'll have a good connection with you. There you go. We'll just call you Huey, although you can change your name. Okay. Sean, did you buy anything for Amazon Prime Day? You're muted.
I'm boring. I didn't buy anything today or yesterday for that matter. Yeah, no purchases.
Okay. Gary, did you buy anything for Amazon Prime Day?
Nothing.
Really? Okay. Stan, did you buy anything for Amazon Prime Day?
I'm also no, nothing. I saw a couple of things, but I really didn't need anything. So what did you buy, Mike? Have you already talked about that?
I sort of talked about it before to Sean, but I think, no, I was talking to Huey today. The very first thing I did was just browsing. And of course, Amazon is always recommending stuff to you. And I have a Gillette trimmer razor. So it's, it's a typical blade type shaver, but it's mounted on a battery powered motor that vibrates. And if you take the assembly on the top, which is the razor assembly, off and close the little clamp, becomes a trimmer for your sideburns in the back of your neck and things like that. Anyway, they had blades for it. It takes the Gillette Fusion blades, which are their most expensive blades, of course. And they're normally like $24 for a pack of 6, maybe. I don't know, very expensive, but at any rate, they were half price. And it was only between, I think it was between 10 and 2 yesterday. So I just waited till it was 10 o'clock and bought it. It was like $12. So that was my first purchase. And then I'm going to talk about today is the security system I'm putting in. And after testing everything out, which I'll get to, I just took a look at what I had on my list, on my shopping list for the remainder of the units. And they were all discounted anywhere from $12 to $20. So I just said, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and buy them. If it doesn't work out, I can always return it. So I bought those. And I had a handyman over here today. We were scoping out how to install the security system, and I had some other odd jobs for him.
Phone's flashing.
Hello, Sheila.
Oh, hi.
Wave. And I have a water softener and a sediment filter on the side of the house. And the sediment filter leaks, but I can't get a gasket for it. I probably could find one somewhere, but it was just a pain. So I just asked the guy when he was here, if I get one, will you replace the whole unit? And he said yes. And so I went on Amazon, and sure enough, the one I wanted was an Amazon Prime Day discount. So I think it was like about 10 or 15% off. And then all purchases made today with an Amazon credit card, they increased the spiff from 5% to 6%. So the purchases that I made today got an extra % off. So bunch of stuff.
So what does this unit do? How big is it? And
What are we talking about? The security system?
No, the water thing.
Oh, it's a canister with a sediment filter, and there's different types of sediment filters. The ones that I got at Home Depot actually look like twine wrapped around and around and around and around the cylinder, and they claimed it was like 20 micron just to get the sand out of the water, any particulate matter. And then the water softener system that I have on the side of the house is a Water Boss. And it has a renewable filter. It's like a bronze filter, porous bronze filter. And when the unit regenerates, it also back flushes water through the filter, washing any particulate matter out. So this basically keeps the particulate matter from the bronze filter, which then gets the finer micron stuff. And plus
What is this?
the
what is
water,
this
it's a
thing-
water softener.
What does this thing live? Is it outside or
Yeah, it's outside
it's
the
outside?
side of the house. So. All right, well then let me share my screen and I'll show you my new security system.
Mike's got more toys.
More toys, yeah. Whoops. Okay, Stan, you're gonna have to allow me to share my screen now that you're back.
Stan's muted.
I know he's muted, but let me see if he gave it to me. No. Yo, Stan. You're muted and I need permission to share my screen.
Is it a screen share?
Well, I guess I won't do it yet until he comes back.
On his computer.
Oh,
I guess I can call him.
I just made you co-host.
Thank you. When you dropped out, I was able to share my screen, which surprised me. Okay, here we go. Shifting over. And slideshow.
Hey, Mike, I got a question for you.
Yeah,
Would you explain in the information you've been sending out, and I've been reading it, it talked about router Wi-Fi for this security
you're
system.
looking at it. You're looking at it.
How does that interact with your regular Wi-Fi?
Okay, so number one, the brand is X Marto. It is a Chinese system. It is an NVR, and those people that know the acronym DVR for digital video recorder, an NVR records from networked devices. And a typical security system like the one that Sean installed has power over Ethernet adapters that are physically plugged in with an Ethernet cable into the back of the NVR. This one is a Wi-Fi NVR, and it is also a Wi-Fi router. So I can connect to my home Wi-Fi, number one, if I wish, but I can also have a 15-foot cable running from my switch, which is connected to my router, to the back of this to provide internet access. And then it has its own router and its own transceiver, and it's a 2.4 gigahertz transceiver. It does not do 5 because of the short range. And then you can choose the channels, which I'll get to here shortly. So literally the cameras are connecting to the NVR by Wi-Fi. And you can see, I was really amazed. Even the normal retail price of this thing is only $90. I mean, I've never come across an NVR that was that cheap. So I said, all right, I'll give it a try. So I bought one. So here's what it looks like when you open it. The whole NVR, other than, is right here.
My expensive Lorex system, the board is just a little bit bigger, maybe about another 2 or 3 inches.
Yeah, I mean, so the guts of this thing is a chip that's underneath this heatsink. Even this gives you an idea how big it is. This is one of those standard, a silver cell or whatever, nickel cadmium cell, lithium ion cell, 1.2 volt batteries. So compare even the chip that's the guts of this. And then this is the Wi-Fi adapter. So it has its own chip that's shielded. And you got all this empty space.
For hard drive.
Well, it is for a hard drive. This is where the network hard drive goes. I mean, this is where the notebook sized hard drive goes. And theoretically, it does have standoffs to put a full size hard drive in here.
Now, I was going to ask you that because when I was looking at this during the week, and you said you were putting a notebook hard drive in, I was looking at those points, and it looked like it could take a regular, hard drive, a big one.
It could have, but it's so flimsy. I didn't want to saddle it, with the current that a mechanical hard drive pulls, and I'd just as soon have a solid state drive anyway. This is the same hard drive I bought maybe a year or two ago when I replaced a 500 gigabyte mechanical data hard drive with a 1 terabyte solid state drive as my second drive in my computer. So I just brought it up, and they still sell them, and the price was very inexpensive, well under $100, which again surprised me. Says it's got a 3-year warranty. That's nice. Made in Taiwan, so it's Chinese, but Taiwanese Chinese. And now you can see relative sizes with that installed in the case. So even though a large hard drive, I guess, would screw here and maybe here and here and extend on over, but I much prefer that.
Those elongated cutouts look like the same thing on my Lorex. I got 4, you got 2, but it looks like you have enough to mount it.
Yes, it could be. They said it can be mounted on the wall. I have it sitting on a desk to my right. Okay, so next, I just put it so you can see the relative size, say, to a keyboard, just sitting on my desktop. And your front controls, they're supposed to be touch sensitive, but they don't seem to be. In other words, I'm supposed to press on this to turn it on and turn it off, and it's never worked. And so that was strike one. You'll get an indication that it's writing to the hard drive. You'll get an indication that you're connected to Wi-Fi right here. And let's see. Okay, so here's the primary camera. And here's the price was marked down. That was my Prime Day deal. So even at 79 was a good price.
I mean, that's cheap. I mean, the Lorex cameras that have a motor where they're, you can move them around are 4 times as much.
And this has 2-axis motors. So you can see this is a ball, and the ball will tilt, and then this whole unit turns right and left. So
And it's strictly Wi-Fi.
and it's strictly Wi-Fi, although if I jump to very end, I'll jump to the end of the presentation. Let's see if I can come out of this. And I will go. It has a cable that looks like this. I've been talking about this cable quite a bit in the emails and also in my conversations with Sean. So this is how the cable comes out, and it branches through this little connector. I won't call it a connector, but it's a split, and then it's plastic sealed. So this is the reset button with a cover over it for reset to factory specs. This is an Ethernet cable. If you wish to, you can connect a cable to it. And then this connects to a 12-volt power cube. Okay, so I'll go back, and we'll go back. Assuming I can get back here. Okay. And let's go to. Okay. When I went searching, my initial search was I'm replacing Ring floodlight cams. So the camera that I got, in my mind, had to have a floodlight replacement. So this has 6 high-intensity LED lights. And at least when I was testing it in my office at night with my lights out, and then I walked into the room and it sensed me, I was almost blinded by the light that these 6 put out. So I'm sure it's enough to light the surrounding area. Plus, they're dual LED and IR. Now, I don't know how you make an LED unit that is both IR and visible light, but before I stuck my head in and let the motion see me, on the screen that I attached to the NVR, I could just sort of look around the corner at it, and I could see a black and white picture that the IR was picking up. And then
So
this is
What is the thing at the very top of the whole unit?
this
up
right
higher?
here.
Yeah.
This is the Wi-Fi antenna. It's articulated right
Okay.
now.
I thought that was the light
No,
until you said the
Here's-
lights were down there.
yeah, here's
okay.
your lights, right?
So do those LEDs light up white or red?
Both.
Both. So
Figure that one out. I wasn't aware that they made a dual purpose LED.
well, like, here's the deal. On most night cameras, when you got low light level and the lights come on, they're usually red. And then the camera goes into a black and white mode. And that's nighttime mode. Now, on the Lorex cameras, you can override that and make it go into color at night.
Yep.
But it looks like pure hell. So
No, this
might as well
looked pretty
just
good.
leave it, you just leave it the way it is. Now, if you can have a motion sensor, maybe it sees with the red lights a black and white picture until it sees motion, then the white lights go on, and then you're seeing it like in daytime TV.
Right. That's pretty much what happened. I walked in
Right.
and it switched to bright lights, and then I went in. But what else can we tell from just looking at this? All right, so that kind of covers, it does have the ability to hook up to Amazon, which I'm not going to use. It does have its own standalone capability. So in the next picture, let me go. Oh, you can actually see, no, that's reflected light, sorry. Here we go. So this is with the dome rotated, and this is a weatherproof compartment. And then you take these screws off and you have access to the circuit board. And on the edge of the circuit board is an SD card slot. It will take up to 128 gigabyte SD card. Now, I thought this was required, and it is required if you're not going to use an NVR. In other words, you can just buy the camera, let it do the surveillance. If it detects motion, it'll be recorded to the 128 gigabytes on a rotating basis. It'll fill it up and then delete the oldest and replace it with the new. And it only records with motion when it's using the 128 gigabyte card. But I pretty well worked out through trial and error that it's one or the other. If you want it to record to that 128 gigabyte card and you are connected to the NVR, it's not recording to the card. It's only recording to the NVR. And if you actually disconnect it, and I think I've got a screen that shows that, and then reset it to factory specs and let it restart, then it will connect to your house Wi-Fi, not the NVR's Wi-Fi. And then you set up an account and you download the app to your phone or your computer, and then you can access it. So I decided I wanted an NVR system anyway, so I just went ahead and reset it and realized now I don't have to buy the 128 gigabyte cards anymore. So you can just use it without that and then connect to the NVR. This is my test setup in the office. I just got a C-clamp with some little felt pads and clamped it down. You can see normally it's 90 degrees up against a wall, but using the controls for the motor, I was able to rotate this way and rotate this way and get it horizontal. So it was picking up images in my office. So it's got almost 180 degree, probably 270 degrees this way and probably 270 degrees in either direction this way.
So can
So the camera is sitting over here to the right, and the NVR is sitting on this desk, and behind this is just a normal computer monitor. When I checked today on Amazon, they actually sell a model of Xmarto NVR and a little 10-inch display with all of the circuitry that's in here in the back of the display. So knowing that, and if I've been aware of it before, I might have gone in that direction, but it's an extra monitor that I've got and I don't really, yeah, I'll leave it there and I'll leave it on most of the time.
So can you buy the camera and just use it by itself?
Yes, that's what I was saying. You buy the camera without the 128 gigabyte card. You pair it to one, so you can see the 8 channels. This is channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
But that's off your NVR.
That's off the NVR. If you just
And what
want to
if you don't
use
have-
it by itself,
And what if you don't have an NVR?
then you just use it by itself, connect to your home Wi-Fi and download the app. There's an app for the PC and there's an app for your phone.
Does it give you a dashboard at that point?
Yes. If you have more than one camera, then each of them come with their own cloud ID. It's a barcode that's on the camera, on the base of the camera. And once it's connected to your Wi-Fi and you've set up an account on Xmarto, if you put the cloud ID in, it'll find the camera and put it on your account. It came with an IR mouse, and it came with a remote control. So you don't really need a keyboard, although they give you a virtual keyboard, which you'll see in, I think it's in the next. Okay, so here's myself just basically going through some of the menu settings, taking a picture with my phone. You can see you can manage the camera, you can manage the system, you can manage video playback, you can set up intelligent parameters for your playback. You can take the video off of the NVR to a USB drive or flash drive. I have not used that function yet to see if I can get certain time frames, or it's just a full backup, everything that's on the hard drive. Don't know. Audio is available if the camera has audio, and these cameras do. It's two-way audio, although I don't have a microphone put on it. It does walk you through setup. It'll give you your network status. Now, something else that's built into these cameras, Wi-Fi extenders are built in. And I thought I was going to have to use those. So you're going to see in subsequent pictures, I went around the house testing out, can I connect and do I get a good video, and can I control it without significant lag? And the answer to that is yes on 3 of the 4 sides of my house. I did not do the 4th side, but each camera has a relay built into it. So the first camera is directly connected to the NVR. That'll be outside my back window here in the office, and then at the peak of the roof. The second camera is around the corner, also at the peak of the roof. And I don't need to use the relay because I've already tested more or less in that position, but I'm going to use it anyway. And so once you turn on Wi-Fi relay on the first camera and then initialize the second, it's supposed to see the first camera signal as being stronger than the NVR signal and connect to it. And then you do that with the third camera and the fourth camera and the fifth camera. So all of those are supposed to, that's something I haven't tested yet. When I get the other units tomorrow, I may take another one outside and try it just to see.
Hey, Mike,
Yep.
one of the challenges that I have seen using the Lorex system is when I do playback, using the NVR and using the direct connection to the TV set as a monitor, it works great. But doing playback using a remote device through the internet, that's something to really be desired. I mean, I can do it on my phone and I can do it on a computer, but it's jerky. It's like unless you've got a really, really good internet connection and you're really getting good signal flow, that's something you need to check out to see how your playback is.
I have, and I sent this. Let me just see where I put it. I think I put it in videos. Hang on a minute. Date. Yeah, let me see the larger. Xmarto. Videos for PC. Oops, that didn't do it. Okay, let me go back up. Let me go back. Well, darn it. I'm not sure where it is now. Okay, I did get the video on my phone, and then I downloaded one and I sent it to Sean. Let's see if I can find that email.
Did you capture that video from the NVR or directly from the camera?
From the NVR, from the screen of the NVR sent to my phone. Let me see if I put it in here. Sean Kane, camera installation. Okay. And let me just take another quick look and then I'll continue with this. If it's not there, finding stuff sometimes is not an easy thing to do.
Was it easy to capture the video? The
Yeah.
clip?
Yeah, video from today's experiment. There we go. Okay, so let's see. And you said glad it got it working. So let me just see. All right, let's see if I can download this and save file. And I'm just going to save it to temporary pictures. This is going to be a very, very short video clip. And let me get that. And let me change this to view and let me change it to details and date. And here, oops, well, there it was. Okay. And open with VLC media player. Let's see if it's gonna. Okay, so this is the video captured on my phone from the NVR, not from the camera. So I'll play that again one more time. There's no real motion going on at the moment. It's one of many, and the camera's sitting in the backyard on a table. So it's pretty clear.
Do you have any motion?
There must have been motion to cause that to trigger, but I don't see it.
You walked in front of it and looked at yourself to see, is there any?
Well,
I could
not in
see
that
some
way.
leaves moving.
Maybe.
Right, there was leaves moving, that's minor.
Yeah, but I didn't have, it does have AI. You can tell it humans only. Oh, and another feature, since it's a motorized camera, is tracking. So if you say activate when you detect a human and track them, then the camera will pan and follow a person walking across the field of view. Haven't tested that either, but that's built in.
That's awesome.
Again, it's an it's an $80 or $60 camera. I mean,
That's why I say you
holy
should
crap.
hook it up again in that same area and then walk around in front of it.
Yeah,
If there's any pixelization or blurring,
I'll do some more testing.
do all that
It
stuff.
won't be installed till next week anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is the SSD before I formatted it, and then after I formatted it. And okay, choosing the channel. This is these are, whoop, hang on, sorry, the slideshow is doing its thing. I have Wi-Fi analyzer for my Android phone, and one of the displays shows all the channels that are in use and that it's detecting. And I did some research. I may have shared it on the TechSIG. I'm not sure. If not, I'll send the link. But they recommend one of 4 channels based on the separation between channels. And this is channel 1. And this is I guess it's the MAC address of the NVR. So I also have a home purifier that's got a Wi-Fi signal, which I plan on, and it's on channel 2. So right now there's nothing on channel 1. So that's what I put the default channel for the NVR to communicate with the cameras. And then this is my mesh network with all of its signals in the 2.4 band from all around the house. So I chose channel 1. They put me in channel 9, and channel 9 is basically right on the fringe of this area. So I just manually set it on channel 1. Okay, once I did that, I went to the menu saying search for cameras, and I did not, because this could be a public broadcast. I didn't want to give the full IP address. So it picked it up automatically and it added it. And now we're looking at the camera in the mounted to my desk in my office, just because I want, just to do testing. And the resolution's pretty good. And I can zoom in and I can see the plaques and I can read the labels and do other things like that. So when I get cameras 3, 4, and 5 in, I plan to bring them into the office and connect them to the NVR ahead of time. And then if I get a nice sunny day with no chance of rain, I may take them all outside with extension cords and place them approximately where they're going to be mounted and have them all hooked up at the same time and then play with that. If not, I'll just wait till the handyman comes back next Tuesday to do the installation.
And the cameras are going to communicate back to the NVR on its own.
Yeah, in other words, here, this is channel 1. Okay, the next one I plug in will be on channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, channel 5, channel 6.
So it's not on your Wi-Fi, it's on its own Wi-Fi.
It's on its own Wi-Fi and then communicating via internet, if I wish it to the server that then sends it out to the PC or to my phone.
Now, how do you weigh that? I mean, this is a question I'm posing, having the cameras feedback to the NVR Wi-Fi versus the cameras feedback to the Wi-Fi in your house.
It is how you set the camera up initially. If I turn the NVR off, physically turn it off, turn the camera on, and it's like the old Ring system. The Ring doorbell actually walks you through the setup verbally. This has a verbal communication from the camera to you as you're setting it up. You press the reset button. It says resetting to factory specs. It says initializing, configuring. And meanwhile, on your phone, just as you do with a Ring system, you log into your account. You can say search for cameras, and it'll actually find the camera and add it, or you can put in the barcode, which is in numbers, as well as you can scan it and it'll add it to your account. So I have now decided I'm not going to put any of the cameras on my account. Okay, the cameras are just going to attach to the NVR. And the NVR is going to display the screens, and you'll see that in one of the screens I have here. All right, so as soon as I attached it, it picked up motion and started recording, and an alarm was set. I brought up the communications interface of the NVR, and you can see I can move it up, down, left, right, or I can say automatic. And if I've turned on the tracking, once I put this in automatic, it'll track any motion if I think it's, and I did try that. And I'm sitting too close to it and I moved my hand, and next thing I knew, it was moving all over the place. I can zoom in and out. I can change the focus. I can change the exposure if I wish. But everything was set up by default, looked pretty good. All right, here is a screenshot taken off of my phone. So I went online. I registered the NVR with Xmarto in my account. I then added it as a device. And there's, well, if I go back, if I was back on this screen, one of the choices would be devices. So I said, add a device. I told it that it was an NVR, and I put in the cloud identity. Again, I could have scanned it or just type it in. And as soon as I did that, these 4 screens popped up here. And you can see that this is the same screen from my office in the NVR. And then I can change it to a single window and I can double click on it and have it full screen. And I can talk to it. So let's see what we got. All right, so that's, oh, let's see, what are we looking at here? We are, oh, this is playback. Okay, so for playback, you can see from the time that I initialized it on the 19th, it started recording right here, and you've got color-coded playback. So it tells you when it's recording, when it wasn't recording, when it picked up motion, and you can zoom this in and get a larger display, and then you can just pick what you want to see. So what I did essentially is I just put the cursor on this time block, and this is what I got at 18:25. And you can see the days which you can choose. You can see how much, like this is is that minutes? Yeah, 13 minutes, 8 minutes, 4 minutes, 11 minutes, 97 minutes. So I was probably out of the office and it was just sitting with no motion or anything and just capturing video. And here's where you can say file playback. And again, you've got the backup capability, which I still want to test. And apparently it saves it as an AVI. Okay, what did I do? Just another shot. Okay, so here's my test setup outside the house. And Sean's urged me all along, be very, very cautious. And I appreciate that, Sean. Thank you. So I want to make sure before I made the commitment to buy the rest of the system that this thing would in fact work. So this is the window to my office. Behind these blinds is the monitor and then the NVR. So I'm shooting straight out, Wi-Fi wise, straight out the window. And this is where I did my first setup. I brought an extension cord out here and I'm looking towards the back of the property. And as soon as I plugged it in, I went in the house and I saw the live video. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to reset. I didn't have to resynchronize. Just once it got power, it connected. There's the setup. This is what we saw. I'm taking a picture off of my screen, so you're getting some. Right, stop that. Okay, let's go back. So you know, this is just looking towards the back of the house, and what you're seeing is not the video itself. You're seeing the video on the screen taken with my camera. So while it was here, I had the controls. So I went ahead and I went up, down, left, right, made sure I could, you know, pan around and all of that and control it. So it's only about maybe 10 feet away outside the house shooting through the window. This is the Ring camera that's going to be replaced by the new one. And so I went ahead and moved it out. Now I'm at the back of the property, at least the distance of the height of the roof. Still a straight shot. And now this is the house as seen from the monitor inside. And before I showed you the video of that was recorded at the same time, which was a lot clearer. The video itself was a lot clearer. Okay, next location is the side of the house. Here's the Ring unit that's going to be replaced. And I'm going to place it here on the side. So I placed the unit right here. And I basically wanted it to have a lot of the house in between, plus these metal units. And both this generator has a 2.4 connection to my house, so it's in between. And I guess could be interfering with it, whatever. But I had no problems. Again, I came in the house. This is a picture of the screen, which was a lot clearer actually than what my camera picked up. And I'm looking across the street at the other house. And I had a good connection and I had full control. The next location is at the front of the house and at my garage, and above the garage at the peak of the roof is the Ring unit I'm going to replace. Again, extension unit here. I was figuring if I was going to have problems, I would have problems here because I'm now got the whole house between me and the front. Although in the garage, this little white box that you see here is one of my mesh network transmitters. Now, it's not on the same channel that this is, so it's not using this to communicate. So again, it's got to be Wi-Fi going all the way through the house into the back. And the picture there, okay, there's the ring unit that's currently
So-
there.
So what's the range of your NVR on its,
Well, right now, the range is a good 50 feet through the entire house, because this is reaching the front of the house. It's not using any of the relay functions of these cameras because I don't have any other cameras yet. So it's going to be a lot stronger signal with the relay enabled, in my opinion.
you mean they
And
talk to it? You mean they talk to each other?
yes, I said that at the beginning of this.
That kind of sounds like that Amazon sidewalk stuff.
No, No, it's Sidewalk is a new system of transmitters that operate in the 900 megahertz and 633 megahertz bands.
Okay, well, I take that back. Then I was referring to that video that you sent out about the Asian guy talking about
Yeah, yeah.
cameras, about devices talking to each other.
True. Well, okay, a mesh network in my house. I have devices talking to each other.
Yeah, it's more like sort of more like that Eero or the mesh Wi-Fi network. It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
So,
Permission to do it. It's not like Amazon where they just turned it on without your permission. I mean, they probably did have our permission because we checked the checkbox saying we agree.
Yeah.
But this is something Mike is turning on purpose.
and it's not, unless I connect to the server and tell the server, connect to my NVR, and then display what the NVR is showing, I'm not communicating with the cloud. So I actually have to take the step of opening the app, telling it to connect to the NVR. It then searches for it, finds it, and then shows me the video. Now I can set the NVR up to send me an alert. And in that case, I am communicating to the server. Where the server is, I have no idea. Probably could be in China, maybe, I don't know. But for the purposes of getting video to the NVR, this is a closed circuit. And the only thing that when it says the cameras are communicating with each other is this one communicates to the camera on that side of the house, which communicates with the camera on the back side of the house, which communicates with the NVR as a range extender on the same channel that, and using the same network. And it's a private network ID. It's a 72 dot, which is one of the groups of networks that does not leave your house and can't be accessed. Anyway, this is the front porch. The intent is to have the camera mounted up here, looking down at the front door and the doorbell, which is over here. And so there's a picture from the camera looking out. So it'll be up higher looking down. And I will get, any deliveries that come to the house is going to open the front door.
Hey, Mike,
Yep.
when that camera, does the door open outward?
Yes. So this is opening away.
No, not that door, the other door.
No, inward.
Okay, good.
Hang on a second. Yeah, that opens inward.
Good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if that opens outward, you're going to be blocking the
Yeah.
camera.
No, it opens inward. It's
Great.
on the inside. The hinges are on the inside.
Gotcha.
And as an aside, you guys all know what a bump lock is? A bump resistant lock?
Yes.
Anyone else? Okay, just very quickly, a standard Yale lock, for example, just a standard lock with a standard key. There's a way to put a key in, hit it with a little tap with a hammer, and have all of the tumblers line up and then turn it and open up the deadbolt. So you have to pay extra. I don't know what these things go for, $40, $50, something like that. And it's actually a special lock with a special key, and it cannot be bumped. Also, just for additional security, this used to be a glass panel. Very easy to break, and in fact, if you broke it on this side, you just reach in and turn the little lever on the other side of this. So many years ago, we had glass brick cemented in. We still get a nice light. You can't look through it, and it's actually tougher than the door is. So, okay, let's see if I have anything else on here. And that was the last. Okay, so I'll get out of this. All right, I know I took up more time than I anticipated, but that's what I intend on replacing. I'm getting one more camera that'll go in the garage. I think, oh yeah, it is. Wait a minute. Let me go back to that again. Sorry. This is the camera that's going in the front door. Notice it's different. It does optically, scan, but you point it in the angle and it's pretty much fixed, and it does not have a floodlight. So it's $40. So I don't figured on the front porch, I didn't need all those features that I would have outside. And then in the garage, it's just a little indoor camera that they've got, and that was $23. So this one will connect in, and that'll complete it, because I like to have the inside of the garage monitored. Okay, I'll stop this.
How many cameras does your NVR take?
8. So I believe, I'll just go back myself and see what it says on the channels. It
was 8.
says, is it 8?
Yeah,
It was
you had
8 on the
slots
screen.
on the NVR.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's an 8-channel unit. Yeah, supports 8 cameras and up to 6 terabyte hard drive. I could have gotten a 2 terabyte SSD, but there was a significant increase in price, and I figure a 1 terabyte's probably going to be good once I get this thing outside, and especially if I just set it for motion activation or manual activation. All right, Stan, if I didn't put you to sleep, back to you.
I don't want to hog the wavelengths here, but I know I said when I started talking, I didn't have anything interesting to talk about, but I actually do have a computer thing that I can talk about that I had started to talk about last time, and I kind of forgot about, and I can talk about that, but I don't want to do that until everybody else is done.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. I'm still having, it's not coming up and saying it's unstable, but I've dropped out a couple of times, had to restart it almost. So I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi today, because usually as the evening progresses, it seemed like it was getting better past months.
Your
But,
audio is a little clipped right now, but I would say just do it audio only.
That's what I'm doing. And well, I'm going to go just across then, Mike. Sean, do you have anything that you are prepared to go over, you want to talk about?
No.
Okay.
Well, I did a presentation last night on something called sync thing, where you can sync a folder or file or folders and files from one computer to the other to another, and it doesn't matter if the computers are in the same network or across the internet. It's a secure secure synchronization sync thing. that's really the only thing that I've done lately. Got that set up. The reason I did it is I've got a laptop that I use and I go out in the field with, and then I'm using a Mac Pro with the big screens here at my desk, and I like to have my desktops in sync. So all the files on my desktop are on both machines, and it's super handy. So called Sync Thing. That's it though.
Okay. Sheila, Gary, how about you? You got anything for us?
Unmute.
I do have one quick thing that I did want to say. I guess last night Sean mentioned how to search for the Amazon Prime Day deals. And it wasn't really for myself, but somebody asked me about getting a wireless. I was talking to somebody about having a wireless charger for his cell phone. And he said, can you find the one that you got? So I went and I selected Prime in the top, Prime Day rather, and I asked for a wireless phone charger, and sure enough, the one I bought came up, and it said that I paid $12, which it had, and it was on sale today for $8. So I got a bargain. $8 is a pretty good deal for a wireless charger
Yeah.
for a phone.
I enjoy seeing it even if I don't buy. And there's a TCL 75-inch TV that I've put in my shopping list that should my Sony ever fail, or should I just decide to break down and get a new TV. And it was something like $400 off of its normal price on Amazon. And then I checked Best Buy, and unfortunately, the series, I think it was Series 7, even though it's listed on Best Buy, it's not available in this region. So one of these days, maybe, or it'll be a 2022 model.
That's one thing that confuses me. You know, I look at the TVs and there's such a wide range in price, and I don't know what the advantages of spending a lot more money are.
Spend less.
Well, one of the new technologies is OLED,
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
and that is an organic LED, meaning that from what I understand, if the pixel is not being used, like if it's void of light or black, it is completely off. So your blacks are much better on a OLED as opposed to a LED screen.
And then you see the QLED. What is that? That's
I
just
think
somebody else's version.
It's edge lit, but they're real tiny, LEDs, much smaller than normal. And it's supposed to give you better resolution.
But it's not as good as OLED.
Well,
If you look at them, if you were to look at an LCD screen in the dark, and the screen was black, supposedly it would look gray. But an OLED screen would actually be off if the screen was entirely black.
Yeah.
Or if half the screen was black, it would be off.
in 20, I'm going to say 2013 or 2012, one of the years that I went to Consumer Electronics Show. And I think that's after Huey stopped going out to Vegas. I was staying at a hotel on the other side of the airport instead of on the strip. And the Fry's store in a big shopping center was nearby. And before actually going on the show floor at CES, I went into Fry's and I looked at their TVs, and they had the new 4K had just come out. They had the 1080 HD, and they had what they called their standard definition sets, and they were all the same size. I don't remember back then if they were 65 or 55s, but I probably 65s. And of course, they're all running the same video and all side by side. And into the store display mode, which is much sharper and, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
whatever. And so standing up close, yes, you could see the differences in resolution. But we watch TV from 10 to 12 feet away where my recliner is located. I got an old Sony 60 hertz 1080,
No difference.
you know, and I couldn't, between those three, I couldn't tell the difference in the picture that I was looking at. So I'm sure getting a new TV set now, it will be sharper, it'll be brighter. My eyes will say, oh, wow, this is really great. And then after I settle in watching newscasts and YouTube videos and other stuff, it isn't going to make that big a difference. So other than looking at specs, and I just decided I like the TCL specs, I would want to go to a place like Best Buy. All the other ones are closed, you know, we used to have what was it? Circuit City and what was the other big store that was in this area? HGR or something
Oh,
like that.
yeah, I know which one.
HH Gregg.
H Greg, right.
Yeah, they were, you know, and you could actually go and compare one to the other, to the other, to the other. And so you either buy it on spec and keep your fingers crossed, or you go look at them. And Costco has the brands that they like to feature, and they are usually on, and they are usually in demo mode. So you can sort of go and see, but it's very limited selection, but you can still get an idea if you like what they have and if their prices are right.
Okay.
It's what your eyes see. And then, do you want a smart TV for the smart TV services? Are you going to put all of your devices plugged into the TV and then have a sound system of some sort for it, or even use the TV for sound? Because some of them have fantastic sound systems these days. Or are you going to continue to have your devices go to a home theater amplifier and just use the TV essentially as a monitor? And the only thing plugged into it will be your home theater amplifier.
Yeah, well, the cable system that our community has all of the or the major apps built in, like Netflix and Amazon Prime and HBO Max and all that. So technically, even though almost everything is a smart TV, we really don't use the functions of the smart TV.
That's even better, because then, you know, like Sony is standardized on Android TV. I'm trying to remember who's standardized on Google TV. And then a couple of the brands have standardized on Roku TV, and there's some Amazon Fire TVs too. You just got a new Amazon Fire TV, didn't you, Huey?
Not a Fire TV, no.
I
I
thought you
Fire
had.
tablet.
Oh, I thought you had gotten a new TV and you said it had Fire interface.
No,
Okay,
I got a Fire
misunderstood.
tablet.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
But yes, it's a confusing environment out there for
I
the
know, you just
consumer.
look and you say, my gosh, you know, there's $400 and $1,400 for the same size TV. So,
It's what do your eyes see?
yeah.
How are you listening to it? And how much smartness do you want to be in the TV itself?
I submitted a link in the chat window.
I saw that. I was gotta copy that.
Apparently, OLED is better than QLED, and it talks.
That's what I thought that was supposed to be the top one, but all right.
Probably the most expensive.
Huh.
There's a home theater guru that's on the Leo Laporte podcast series. And he's pretty good. He's got his own podcast and his own website. And he kind of makes sense out of the environment, especially at major evolutions in release of products. So he did several podcasts right after CES, and he does it before Black Friday. And then throughout the year, he covers things. And it's pretty good just listening.
Right. Looking for something to copy. Okay.
Could you send us a link to that, chap? Mike?
Yeah, I'll look them up and get a link unless Sean finds them.
TechSIG, sure.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Sheila, interesting. Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right. Huey,
Yeah, I got a couple of things.
Terrific.
Let me share my screen. I don't think I need the sound, but I'll turn it on anyway. And this is something I did not order yet because it's an Indiegogo. It's a crowdfunding. It's going to be about $129, I think. If you get it early before they build them, it's about 109. Got a camera built right into the
Like-
bird feeder, and the bird sits on there. And that's what it looks like. Let's see, there's another picture here. It looks like this, the camera, the food's behind it, and the camera, so as the bird eats there, the camera is filming it. And you can look at it with your phone, and the app that comes with it will identify the bird by its sound as it's coming up to eat, and then as it's sitting there eating, it will identify it, and you'll be able to see it up close too.
Huh.
Which Robin just loves the bird feeder we have. We got a lot of birds to it. Now here's what it looks.
How good do you think that works? Is it like, okay, this is Buddy, this is Frankie, this is Susie, the different bird names?
No, not those kind of names. A warbler or
Mockingbird, that kind of thing?
yeah, the types of birds. I'm sorry, it's $189. It's going to be over 200. So I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to invest in it or not. You can get a roof, one that's got a roof with a sun powered. That's what it looks like there. See how it.
You know, what they don't show the squirrel that's going to be coming up there and eating all that bird seed.
Well, there's ways around that. It depends on where you hang it and so on. So yeah, it'll show it.
They'll find it.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
here's some other
we had to
pictures
take
of
our bird feeders down because the squirrels were flying them and also the black bears.
Well, you'll have a nice picture of the bear, and I level one. But Robin really likes having the bird feeder out there, so I thought maybe I might get a second one for her. But what I did buy her from Amazon was the new Fire HD10. It's the 2021 model. It's I bought the cheap one. It normally runs 150 bucks. It was 80 bucks. I got it. Actually, they had a special that if you ordered it through the Echo on Saturday, you could get the order in Saturday, and it was delivered yesterday. So we've already got it. I've got it set up. Robin hasn't started using it, but I was able to get things set up for her, and it's ready for her to go with it. It's a 10-inch tablet. It's better than using her phone because it's bigger. She watches a lot of YouTube videos and things. It's not a phone, and I did some searching, and apparently there is a way to text by connecting it using Bluetooth to her phone, and then she'll be able to text out of it as well. But you can get her emails and go to Facebook and to look at videos and so on and see and of course you can take pictures with it and so on. So it's not a bad deal for $85 with tax delivered. I ordered a few other little things at 3:30 in the morning yesterday, Monday, and 3 of them arrived yesterday evening, same day delivery. And then I got another one today, and I'm getting one tomorrow, one on Thursday, and another one on Friday. So our prime delivery is going to be all week long, but nothing big, nothing major. But I am impressed with this tablet. It's the brand new model, the newest model. The screen is clear. It's it's not it's not an iPad, but it's light. It's 10-inch. It's a 10-inch one, and it's comfortable to use, and it looks nice.
Hey, Huey,
Yeah.
have you been using the when you go into Amazon and you do a search at the top there? If you click on that, are you using the Prime Day search?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. And whatever I looked at, there's where you can choose the brands and the prices and so on. There's a box there for Prime Day. And I've been clicking that box too. If that's what you mean. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
for the folks that don't know, the search bar at the top of the Amazon window that everybody uses, there's a drop down on the left side of that that says all departments Prime Day, and you can of course narrow it down to books or appliances or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's handy. So if you search with Prime Day, it only returns Prime Day sales.
Yeah. And the other thing is here, let's see if I can, oh, this is already purchased, but let's say, let me go to, let's see. Well, let's just go to a different one. Let me full screen. Why am I not seeing what I'm looking for? Okay, when you do a search, okay, let's do it that way. Fire HD tablet. There you go. Over here where it's got things. There was a way when you're searching for something, there was a box there you would click. Now the one you're talking about is up here.
Yeah, to the left of where you typed Fire HD 10 tablet.
Oh,
The second item down is Prime Day. Click on that where you were just pointing at it.
Yep.
But no, there you go. Now see where it says in the search field, next to the search field, it says Prime Day.
yep.
So you can select that. It's at the second one down. There it is. And then when you enter something in the search field, it will return Prime Day results.
Just the Prime Days, yeah. They're all Prime Day deals. Yep. Good. Yeah, got a few more hours left to spend some money.
I was surprised, as I said earlier on, before everybody got here, I was really surprised at the things that were Prime Day, just, discounted. Even that water filter for the outside of the house wasn't something I would normally expect them to promote, but I'm sure they go through it and code it and say, okay, what do we need to push, to get people to buy? What do we need to get less of in inventory? And so they'll put discounts on it so they pop up for Prime Day. The question about Scott Wilkinson, I put 3 links in the chat. The last one is the Home Theater Geeks. It's on the Twit TV podcast series and some of the other things that he is.
I love
he's
listening
done.
to him. He's so knowledgeable.
Extremely.
It gets confusing because he throws those 3-letter terms around all the time. The LCD and the LED and the QLED and the NBC and the AB. Just, it really gets-
HDR and
yeah, HDR and
like I said, it's what the eyes see and what the ears hear. And I see that Donna and Ken have joined us. They are members of our Linux SIG. If Stan, if you'd like to ask them to unmute themselves and say hi.
Well, absolutely. That would be wonderful. Please do.
Donna and or Ken, would you like to unmute and or turn your video on and say hi to all of us?
Well,
Thank-
hello. I can't turn a video on because this is my computer in my office that doesn't have a camera.
No problem.
But anyway, I bought an SD external hard drive. And I went with it's recommended, I think Samsung. Anyway, it wasn't the most inexpensive. Or SanDisk maybe. Anyway, it's a portable external SSD hard drive. So that's what I bought. I did have a question back to Linux. I was trying to format a DVD read-write to make that snapshot, and I couldn't make it format. So
Under
we'll deal with
Linux.
that in Linux.
Under Linux. I
Under
haven't done that yet. My second desktop has a reader writer, and I do have some read write. I think they're DVD RWs. So the key is the number one, the key is the media. If you're going to try to format, whether under Windows or Linux, if you're trying to format an optical disc, the discs that you can format will be, I believe, have to be RWs. Because if you just format it, you've already written to it, and I'm not sure at that point whether you can continue writing. It's a gray area, but I know a long time ago, I used to think in terms of an RW optical disc with a drive that can do reads and writes. And then under Windows at the time, formatting an RW disk so that it can accept data and delete it if necessary, and then just use it as external storage. I did that a couple of times before I just switched to an external hard drive or a flash drive because their capacities have gone up so high. But
I hear you. I
just double check that the media you're trying to format is on the envelope that it came in or the box that it came in, that there are Ws and not just plus R or minus R.
It's an RW and it's totally blank. I just, a
Okay.
new one from a stack. But
It-
anyway,
It should
So-
format, just have to have the right application.
Okay.
John Kennedy isn't with us, but I'm sure he knows the answer to that. He knows the answer to most Linux questions.
okay.
How did you do with the crashed hard drive on your Windows computer?
Okay, that's the one that I have back that Ken and I are using right now to watch you. And this is the one with no camera, but I have both Linux and Windows on here.
Oh,
And last night, we got my laptop back with just Linux, and that's the machine. I said, I want to work the Linux on this first before I go to my Windows. So then the other option was how to partition the Linux. So I could also put, in addition to an external backup, I could also do one internally, and I don't know how to do that yet either, but maybe you'll cover it in class, and it's not pertinent to. these
it is a
questions aren't really
subject. It is a subject we can cover in the Linux SIG, and I'll just make the statement that I wanted the latest version of Linux on my second desktop. It had Linux Mint 18 on it for at least 5
That's
years,
right.
if not longer. And I just decided to do exactly that. I did a lot of research when I was doing it, looking at sizes of partitions, which of the variables that are used in Linux for storing data, slash var, slash bin, slash etc, slash home, all of those variables can all go on the same partition and be folders, or they can be individual partitions that you've decided how much storage you want and give you better options for backup and restoring if something crashes. And I decided, okay, in for penny, in for pound. I took every single major designation and made it a partition on the hard drive and played with it. So fingers crossed it's working. So we can probably discuss that at greater length during the Linux SIG.
Ken says he doesn't want to say anything, but he thought he was doing the snapshot on a partition. And so he went to look at his disk and Anyway, obviously it's not on a partition. So he had to run to the store to get flash drives because he wants to do it tonight. And so anyway, he ran and got them. And I also ordered some more little sticks because this read write thing is just beyond me. Anyway, enough on Linux. You have other people.
I will say to those assembled here, check your inventory of flash drives, okay? And just like Sean did, search for Prime Day, search for flash drives, and the ones that come up are amazing discounts and all kinds of neat stuff. Like you can get a pack of 5 16 gigabyte
That's what I
US,
ordered.
USB 3 flash drives in different colors. So they're color coded. There's, you get them so they rotate or they slide. I mean, there's all kinds of, and they're the cheapest you're going to see until Black Friday. So you got till midnight. You still with us, Dan?
I hope I can stay away from that. Sorry,
No, I was just wondering
I
if you
didn't
were
hear
still
that.
with us.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we're, can I kind of interject here?
Yeah, you said you wanted to finish up with some
Yeah,
computer
go ahead.
I
comments.
think it might have been on the last session. I was talking about my wife's MacBook computer. And her touchpad not working correctly, where you had to basically press real hard. And to bring you up to date, got some information from Sean on, I didn't have as much tools as I've got. I didn't have those special tools, and they are special. So I called around like Sean suggested, and that was a total disaster. So then I got on the internet and started searching for, wasn't exactly sure what I was searching for, but this Amazon thing popped up. I wasn't on Amazon. I was just on Google, and a whole bunch of stuff came up as I was just Googling phrases. And this Amazon thing came up with the tools to take apart a MacBook. Anyway, so I bought it and I got it. It was exactly what I needed. It was pretty inexpensive. I think it was under $10. And so I commenced to taking the MacBook apart, which I did. I took the bottom off, and to speed this up, I could tell right away that somebody was in there before me. Now, it was a used computer when we bought it, and it looked like the battery was either replaced or taken out. Because I can see there was a little cover tab missing and one screw missing that holds down the battery. So, and I can see the other screw was chewed up a little bit. So I watched all the videos on how to remove the battery, and I almost couldn't believe these things are glued down into the computer. And I watched a lot of videos on different methods on how to take these batteries out. And it's almost scary, but this one guy had this look like the most non-destructive, what guys had all, they were putting in alcohol, they were putting in fluid, they were using putty knives, there all kinds of stuff, you know. But this one guy was using tie wrap tape, tie wrap cord.
That's you, Sean.
I muted him. Go ahead.
So I got this, I have hundreds of feet of tie wrap cord since I used to work for Lockheed, and I used to use it. It's cord that's very thin that ties bundles of wires together. And there's even classes on how to work with it. So anyway, I take this stuff and I put it under the battery, and there's like 5 or 6 sections. And I start with the first section, and it like just slides right through. And I go, this thing's not even glued down the way the other video showed it was. I mean, they really worked at it. I just a little bit of action, and it slid right through. So I did it to all the batteries, and except I'm not sure if I got to the center compartment yet, but it looks like the problem with the. I watched some videos on the keyboard, and the keyboard has got one contact, and it looks like the contact can get out of position or just worn. And that's the problem she's getting or having. If you go to the bottom of the keypad, the touchpad, and you press hard, it works, it clicks. So I figured you've got to adjust. There's an adjustment to bring the contact a little bit higher. Unfortunately, I can see the contact by lifting the battery, but I can't get to it. There's just no way. So I I have a hard time getting the computer away from her long enough for me to do this. So that's about where I stopped. I never did disconnect the battery, and I never did remove the battery completely, but that's the point I'm at. And I think what I need to do is just remove the battery and get to this one adjustment right under the battery and just screw it like a quarter or an eighth of a turn, something like that, just very little. Because these other people were setting the pads up and they were turning it a really small amount. So I guess I'll turn it like an eighth of a turn, then I got to put the battery back in to power it up and try it and see how.
Well,
it
while you
does.
got that all open, you might as well get a new battery for it too.
Yeah, you know, the thought did cross my mind. But you know, the fit is so tight in there. I tried to listen to a lot of these other people. I don't fully understand why the batteries, and there was a slight explanation on it, why the batteries had to be glued in, because some other MacBook computers, some of the early ones that I found in the videos that wasn't like mine, I watched those also. And they were fatter computers and they didn't have batteries glued in. But when they went to the thinner style, they started gluing the batteries in. This is what I got out of all these videos. And when they started gluing the batteries in, that was because that was the way they made the computer thin. Doesn't make complete sense to me, but I guess they didn't want the batteries bouncing around. But you know, it's such a tight fit, and you can put foam in there. I guess I would have to get a real good explanation, but it's not that important. But obviously, the battery was taken out once, and they probably put it back in, and it was never really glued in properly. Because it looks like when you glue these things in, you take, you know, the wrap off, and then the glue is on the battery, and you just drop it down there, and it hermetically just glues. I hate things that are permanent because I like to be able to get into things and take them apart. I hate to do anything ever permanent. So, you know, if I did buy a new battery, I would consider not gluing that thing in, and hoping that the little bit of cellophane wouldn't make the fit too tight physically to get the bottom on. Just something to think about. So, but anyway, that's where I am. So as soon as I can grab your computer for a piece of time, that I can take my time and take this thing out, it does scare me a little bit. I mean, if anything happened to it, I'm like dead meat, you know?
Nah, you just get another one. Make
You
sure you
know,
got a good
so-
backup.
You know, so, I mean, you know, I've been working on this kind of stuff my entire life, you know, and so, I mean, for 60 years, I've been in microelectronics. I mean, I've been doing this. This is what I did for, you know, all my life. But, you know, it's her computer. So if anything ever, you know, spiked putting the battery connector back on, I think I just croaked. So that's one thing that's slowing me down.
Lock up your gun.
So anyway, that's right. That's where I am with it. And maybe on the next TechSIG, on the next session we have, I can say, hey, I'm good to go.
About the only thing I would request you do, take some pictures. Just show us, you know, show us how the battery's sitting in there. You know, and you said you've gotten a special tool, so take a couple pictures of where
Yeah.
that special tool.
It's a pack of 5
Sit in
tools.
there. Yeah.
Basically, they're star drivers, but they're really small. And I have really complete sets of star drivers, multiple sets. I didn't have anything that went down there that small. These are special tools to work on computers.
Did
Yeah.
you talk to Patrick Dowling at all when you were going to try to take this thing apart? Because I know they repair Macs, so he's got to have similar tools.
No, I did not talk to him.
Okay. We haven't seen him in a long time on the TechSIG.
Well, when I asked him once why he stopped coming to the meetings, he said that he was having he stays open till 7 o'clock, so he's got to shut down his business early to get to the meeting. And I think that was one of his problems, why he didn't always make the meetings.
Well, Stan's been popping in and out.
I
and,
noticed that.
I've been recording, so I have the recording on my computer.
Oh,
I'll
good.
process it and
Mike,
make it available. Yeah, sorry.
Mike, this morning you and I were talking about something. Let's see if you can see it. The little microphone.
Yeah, you said you got a new microphone?
Well, the one you were talking
Oh,
about.
the one I got. Okay.
Yeah, you talked about it this morning, sent me
Yep.
the link, and I ordered it this morning and it showed up this
It showed-
afternoon. It's like Amazon didn't have anything to do today but deliver my package.
Yeah, tomorrow, there's going to be some good Q&A on the APCUG Wednesday webinars. I think you have until 10 tonight to register for them. Huey put a note up in the TechSIG with the link to do that if you're available at noon tomorrow. I've got a lunch group like Huey has a lunch group on Mondays. Or no, what is it, Mondays or
Thursdays.
Thursdays?
I have
Yeah,
it on
mine-
the third Thursday of the month.
yeah,
Yeah.
mine is every Wednesday, so I'll miss it. But one of the subjects is on using AV to do hybrid meetings, which you and I go way back on. And I provided information to Judy Tallur and John Kennedy, and they may use some of it. I'm not sure if they will or not.
Yeah, and you talked to Stu Buttorf,
Yeah,
the Tampa Bay group, and Dockery called me today to ask me some questions about it too. So he didn't know about the meeting tomorrow, so I let him know about it. So
okay. Hopefully that'll go well. I'll see the video when they're done.
I've done a couple of presentations to groups that were doing hybrid meetings. The problem isn't where someone like me is doing it through Zoom to the meeting, and then there's people there. That's not the problem. It's the problem is somebody's giving the presentation at the meeting and they're still trying to Zoom it.
And that's what we did in our TechSig the
Yeah,
video that I
and
that I used.
that's where a lot of them are confused on what they can do and how to do it and what problems they're going to have.
Are you going to sit in on that tomorrow?
Yeah, I will be a part of that. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, you know what we've done? You've
Yeah.
been one of the Zoom participants in a hybrid meeting, so you've seen it work. It's trial and error to get the right video camera, and
Yeah,
then trial and error to get the right microphone
and then you
and-
got to have enough bandwidth.
and the bandwidth to do it. And we had terrible bandwidth at Denny's when we were doing that too. So,
Well, I tried to, from my luncheon Thursday, try to join the Tech for Senior Live from the restaurant. And I used their Wi-Fi. I used my hotspot. I have two hotspots. Try to use both of them. And wherever I was, I had terrible reception and I couldn't get on. I couldn't get on more than a picture and a hi, how are you? And then I was gone.
see, now there's a service Amazon could provide everybody with Sidewalk. We'll give you a hotspot, better hotspots. Or we walk around with our little antenna and hook up to Starlink as we walk around. So, okay,
We've been
guys,
having-
well,
we've been having a pretty good group for the Thursday sessions, which
Mhm.
are just Bob G from Avast, Ron Brown, and myself, and now
Bill James.
Bill James is going to join us. So he'll fill in the weeks I'm not there, but he'll probably join in as well other weeks. And so there'll be four of us. And all we do is like we're doing here, we just talk about things and then we look at some of the latest news articles and so on and just gab for an hour. But we're doing it using StreamYard, which streams to both Facebook and to YouTube. And then people can sit there and be typing in questions in the chat box. And then Ron, through the StreamYard software, can actually put them in the lower third so you can see what the question is on the screen. And he can type in, or he can show whatever people have written in the chat box on the screen. And it really works well. And the streaming. So we've been getting, we're getting about 40, 50 people now every Thursday live. And then we're getting another 50, 75 people or more watching the reruns or the recordings.
And I'm watching Leo Laporte and several of his podcasts, and I could do nothing all day long except watch video podcasts if that's what I wanted to do. And of course, the amount of work you put into the presentations that you give, I'm sure takes up quite a bit of your waking hours.
Yep. And early
Um,
hours and mid hours.
One more promo is Windows,
11,
maybe.
We'll
Thursday
find out
morning.
Thursday at noon, Thursday at 11 o'clock our time.
11 a.m. I'll post the link for that again in the TechSIG.
Yeah, I'll watch that. Then we have the Tech for Senior Live right after that. We get an hour break, and then I'm back for learning Chromebooks. So Thursday's going to be a fun day for me.
Okay, guys, enjoyed it.
Yep.
I'm gonna stop the recording.